All right, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, you're welcome. Allow me to welcome you to the third of our intentionality series. For those of you who were here on the first and second episode, you know that my name is Justina, and I'll be moderating today's session as usual. At this time, I would like to officially give the floor to our host here, Mrs. Mary Akpobome, for her official welcome address. Akpobome, please take it away. By the way, you look lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending your Saturday morning with me. I'm sure there are probably so many other things that are fighting for your time and attention this morning, but you chose to spend it with me. And I appreciate that, and I welcome you officially to the third series of our journey on living intentionally. You obviously want to live intentionally. That is why you've decided to spend this time with us. So I welcome you once again to this event. This is the third of our series. If you recall, I don't know how many of you joined us at the first series. So let's just do a bit of a recap. So earlier in the year, in January, we got together and looked at year 2020. 2020 was a tough year, and I put tough year in quote because for some people it was their best year, but really we know that for most all around the world it was a very, very difficult year. So we spent some time looking at that year, but not looking at it so that we can rehash all that had gone on in 2021, but looking at it so that we can see the lessons that 2020 taught us, okay? It was a year that many people felt defeated, downcast. It was a year that we started using Zoom, to do business. So people like that obviously found 2020 as a wonderful year. And then we had our second outing, where we then sort of took stock. So January we met, agreed on some things. In April we met again and we said, okay, in spite of 2020, indeed, because of 2020, how is 2021 going to be? So in 2020, in that session, we broke down goals, we looked at practical steps on how to achieve our lifelong goals or our business goals, our family goals, our career goals, whatever goals it was. We took time to go through that. And of course, with the promise that we'll be back again at a time like this to talk about today, legacy beyond means. If you recall, when we ended the program in April, we did say that we were going to talk about legacy. So today, we're going to talk about legacy. Legacy beyond means. We're careful not to leave it at the word legacy for obvious reasons of the fact that typically when people hear legacy, for a long time, when I hear legacy, I think money, I think tangibles. But over time, you realize that there's so much about legacy that is beyond necessarily our means. Because again, we talk about means, we're therefore talking about tangibles, we're talking about assets, we're talking about funds and economic value to it. But today we are going to be discussing legacy beyond means. This event is meant to be a lot of fun, very interactive. So we're going to be throwing up things, and we only ask that you participate fully to get the full benefit of today's event. What I can assure you, beyond the fun and the games and everything that we're going to do therein, is that there are so many things that we together are going to learn. I look forward to learning from you because you are also going to throw up some things for the rest of us to take away. There is a lot to learn today. Don't leave your seat. You can get a cup of water, tea, whatever. Don't leave your seat. You will certainly be glad that you were part of today's session. Promises to be very, very insightful and educative. All right. So again, I welcome you. Thank you very much. So Justina.
Okay, thank you, Mommy Mary, for that very well welcome. I mean, I'm already feeling inspired. I don't know about everyone else. So, guys, we're introducing a new twist to the Intentionality series because we would like more participation from you because we're really doing this because of you. Therefore, permit me to officially launch our poll time. Yay! So I'm going to talk you through it real quick. It's quite easy. I believe that everyone that is on this session has a device with them. Yeah, can we unmute now? We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. Can everyone unmute their mics?
Yay!
Can everyone? Hi.
Okay.
Fantastic. So can you go to www.ahaslide.com? Real quick. Let's do it.
Sorry.
This is the link on your screen right now. www.ahaslide.com/series 3, series in capital and number 3. You only need to log in once throughout the event and not again.
Slides.
I didn't get that.
Slides.
Please look at your screen. A for apple, H for house, A again for apple, S for sheep, L for Lagos, I for indigo, D for dog, E for egg, S for sheep again, .com/series. Series is in capital and number 3, right? Okay. Are we there now?
Yes, but it says no results yet. Yes.
Yes, hold on, the results are coming. Hold on. Okay, fantastic.
We
So
want
if
to
you're
win
there
a prize.
now,
We want to win. We want to win a prize.
come again.
We want to win a prize.
Okay. I can see your name. Amazing. I missed the cloud. So I see you're already gone ahead to start answering. Can we all see the screen? So I see David, I see Ola, I see Tita, I see Titi, I see Sanusi, I see Tamuno MP. Okay. I see Bolanle, I see Stephen. Amazing. It's a cloud of names. These are all intentional people. These are official welcome to all of you. We're celebrating every name here on the screen. We have only 52 people on. I need everybody to log on. Let's go. We can do this. Now 49. Who is logging out? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. 59 people have answered. Stay online. I see Jerry. I see Catherine. I see Barbara. I see Esther Jato. Yeah. I see Modukte. I see all of you. This is our way to celebrate all of you that are on this call with us. We love that you're on this journey. That we can always have fun with you. I see Cecilia. I see Ade and Jude. Right? I see you all. I see you all. You're all welcome to the event. This is just a way to get us accustomed to the platform. So far, I can see that 74 people have joined on. Please do not move past the first question yet. We will be moving forward shortly. So you're all welcome. Your names have been registered in the sands of time. I should take a screen grab. Command shift. F3, yay. I'm taking one. Titi, I see you all the way from Turkey. Titi is our design group. Amazing. Okay, let's get right back into it now. Okay, everyone, can we now mute our mics now? We're about to go into the real session. Thank you. Mute your mics, everyone. All right. Mommy Mary, back to you now. take us through the introductions and into the substance of why we're here. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get back on track. I believe we've all used that little break to sort of get to this. So I hope we're now all ready to get into this. It is surprising how many people don't spend the amount of time that they ought to think about legacy, to think real deeply about the impact, the good that we can do to impact society. We move around the day, including me. You know, we get so busy moving around the day, doing one thing or the other, largely to make ends meet, that we forget that we have no control. We have absolutely no control as to when our last breath is going to be. Zero control. So we don't spend time also thinking that in the midst of these 24 hours, in the midst of the hustle, as we call it, if anything happens now, where do I go? What happens? What will my legacy be? What will people say about me? Both my immediate family, my community, and the world at large. This session today is really about thinking deeply about your life now and beyond. Because yes, it's great to be celebrated when one is alive. Lately, I mean, again, no thanks to COVID, a lot of people have passed and we're experiencing quite a few deaths around the world. And you hear people say, how come you didn't celebrate this person when they were alive? So some people will tell you, don't wait for me to die before you celebrate me. Celebrate me. But the question becomes, what is it about you that those people ought to celebrate? What is it about you? How did you touch their lives? What is it that you did for them? How did that thing impact them positively or negatively? So what is it exactly that you would want them to celebrate about you? We're going to take another, in this case, a poll. So you are going to return to that slide. But in this time, we want you to state there what legacy means to you, your understanding of what legacy is. Because when we do that, we then go through this session and then we then see if your mind, if you have a different opinion or a different mindset as to what legacy now means to you before you came onto this program. So at this point, let us examine what legacy means to you by going back to your device to give us your thoughts on that. So Justina will handle that session.
We're going to go back to the poll now. So once again, go back to the link that you opened earlier. And this time you will be telling us, you know, what legacy means to you as a person. What does legacy mean to you as a person? 1 second. Now, sorry, before that, we want to just gather a little bit of information about you, just for the sake of, exactly, I see it. I see, just to get a sense of who the sort of people that have logged on to be a part of this journey with us. Amazing, it's a good mix because I'm seeing an early 20s and I'm seeing 45 as well. Let's just celebrate that person that is 45 and still going out there to get knowledge. We celebrate you, whoever you are. Amazing. So about 53 people have told us their ages, and okay, beautiful, beautiful. We see you all. Amazing. We have an amazing mix of participants, and that is why we do what we do. So right now, okay, maybe let's just give maybe 5 seconds for everyone to put in their ages so we can capture that real quick. and move on to the next thing. Okay, that will be it. Next, I want to ask, how are you feeling today? I mean, we care that you're here. You know, how are you feeling about this event? How would you describe your current emotion? How are you feeling today? Fine. Okay, we'll take that. And maybe she has answered for maybe okay, happy, anticipating, eager, phenomenal, hungry for knowledge, beautiful. I like that one. Awakened, curious. I am so excited. Yay. Love that as well. Good, good. Okay. Grateful to be alive. That's a good one. Someone is feeling engaged. That's beautiful as well. Yeah, I see you all. Fantastic. Someone is feeling depressed. I'm sending you an e-hug. Whoever that is, please, I would like to have a word with you after the event. Whoever that is, I would like to have a word with you after the event. You can just send me a private message. Somebody said they are feeling ready for transformation. Oh, I love that one as well. Someone is feeling ready for transformation. Okay, beautiful. Let me just capture this. Okay, amazing. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question now. Is this your first intentionality series event? Oh, wow. I mean, this is very insightful. We have a lot of first timers here. Oh, wow. Beautiful insight. This is great insight for us. This is amazing insight for us. Okay, beautiful. Wow. Okay, fantastic. So let's get right into it, to the meat of the event. In line with what Mrs. Akpobome was talking about a moment ago. When you hear the term legacy, what comes to your mind? Let's kick off this discussion really from there. Future generation. What I'm to be remembered for? Impact, generational, not to be forgotten. Wow, amazing. There's so much here. So let's keep it coming, because I will let Mommy Mary comment about these shortly before we get right back into the presentation. Beautiful. Beautiful. Value left. Somebody said death. Okay, we'll see. Long-term impact. Beautiful. I love, you guys are so interesting. I love this crowd. I mean, I have almost 100 people. Woo, we have 100 responses. Well done, everyone. This is beautiful. Well done, everyone. This is beautiful and interactive. Can everyone mute their mics, please? Yeah. Okay. Keep it going. So we have about 121 responses. 122 now of the almost 200 people that are here. Maybe I would like you to just make a comment. Please, there's somebody called Yinka. Your mic is on. Can you put it off, please? Maybe I'd like to make a comment about what you have on the Yinka's phone. Okay, let me just do it then. Okay, I think you're quiet now. Mrs. Akpobome, we invite you back to just, what is your reaction to the comments that have come in so far?
My reaction to the comments and the terms that everybody has used on this program is that really you guys are the ones that ought to have been the ones taking this program, not
my thought exactly. Woo-hoo.
It is so amazing that we're all in this, and to a very large extent, we have a really very good idea of what legacy is about. I am really, indeed, I applaud everyone for the comments that they have made. So just before we get right back to it, there was some information that we should have provided that I should have provided in my intro. In our series 2, we introduced, as part of this session, a mentoring objective for people to win the opportunity to be mentored by others. For us, we just felt that beyond talking, let's find a way to give back. I can tell you that those that got that opportunity to be mentored between April for the duration that their mentorship lasted have such good testimonies, and probably that was the highlight of our joining our series. Some of them have maintained those relationships and maintaining those relationships with their mentors to date. We are going to maintain that. We are going to always maintain that part of our series. And this time we have 4 amazing coaches who are such experts in their chosen, in the topics that we chose. So if you had followed the Instagram post and the repost, you would know that 2 or 3 people are going to win the opportunity to be mentored by the renowned, I don't even know how to begin to describe Emmanuel Oyeleke, but he is an absolute delight, okay, on the subject of photography. Tope Olagbegi, Sixth Sense, my beloved daughter, an expert in that field, will be taking on beneficiaries on the business of interior decoration. Master of ceremony, no other than Lafo. So all of you that keep calling and saying, Mrs. Akpobome, we would like to do this, introduce us to this person and that person, this is the time for you to win the opportunity to be able to learn the art. Because it's one thing for you to see people with that microphone, there's a lot of work, okay, and art and skill that has gone into it. And last but not least, our beloved Tara Faladuro Toye will be taking of some beneficiaries on the topic of marriage and family. I'm saying this because in the course of our interaction this morning, Justina is going to, from time to time, throw up some quizzes, fastest fingers. If you want to win the opportunity for these mentoring sessions, you better quickly get on board and answer those questions. So it would be the fastest and most correct answers, and that is how we will pick our winners. So now you know. So don't call me later and say, oh, I want to be mentored by X. We're picking the winners right in the course of this program. Let us get to it and examine legacy. We had started earlier when I said, when we think of legacy, when most people think of legacy, but I guess with your responses today, maybe I'm not so correct in saying most people, let's just say many people think about the word legacy. They think about tangibles. So they think about money, buildings, land, business holdings, economics, okay, naira and kobo or dollars as the case may be. What we have, however, done in the course of this is to sit back, especially as Africans, and let's just even keep it at home, Nigerians. Why do we think along those lines? Why each time you hear things like, oh, her father left her, her mother left her, and most times we're talking about, oh, they left somebody a car, they left somebody some money, they left somebody some this and some that. A lot of times also, truth be told, we write our wills, and a lot in there is largely material. Let's roll back onto history and think about the effect of colonization. Not so much as to the material things that were taken from us, as to our culture, as to our resource, both human and otherwise, but what they had done to us mentally as a people. Having done that, okay, though we are physically free, but we are not mentally. So from what we see in our environment, when we think about about our daily being, what is it that comes to mind? What comes to mind readily is how much more can I get? How much more business do I need to embark on? Do I need to change my career? Do I need to make more money? Really, do I need to make more money? Do I need to acquire more houses? Do I need to? So there's a lot of get, and get some more. And this getting is for who? Me, and a lot of me. And in this case, I don't necessarily mean me as a person, but me in this case, you and your immediate family, and at best, community, immediate family. Do I blame you for it? No, because whatever it is that I'm saying, I'm also in that space as well, okay? What has happened is that we're in a society where infrastructurally, truth be told, we are catering for ourselves on a lot of things that should be provided for us by the society, i.e. by government. So you need a bigger car, you need an SUV. Why? Because your roads are bad. And you have to move, let's say, from Ikorodu to VI to go to work. So you are spending a lot of time on that, looking for money to be able to get an SUV. Is anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. You are seeking economic value because you want to send your child to a private school. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. We only need to visit our public schools to know why it would be everybody's goal and objective to everybody's goal and objective to send their children to those private schools. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Do you get back home and you just turn on your lights, turn on your switch, the switch of your lights, and assume that you're going to get power, or turn on the tap in your house and assume that you're going to get water? The answer is no. What's the point here? We may be physically free, but the infrastructure is not available and therefore leaves a big vacuum that we have to fill by ourselves. What does that then do? It takes away so much from us that we are focusing so much on the immediate, and the immediate is us and our families. Again, like I said, there is nothing wrong with that. But maybe I hope that by the time we're done today, we'll probably be able to, in the midst of all of that, because these challenges exist. Trust me, they're not going away anytime soon. These challenges do exist. But in the midst of that, how can we still live impactful lives in our society beyond our immediate family? Let's try and define legacy formally. Webster's dictionary describes it as anything handed down from the past, as from an ancestor or a predecessor. Two operative words, anything. So that takes away money, land, it's only a part of it. And when we're done with this program, you'll realize that it's actually, yes, it's a good part, but it's quite a minimal part of it when we're talking about legacy. The second key word here is origination, either from an ancestor or a predecessor. I doubt if any of us here are ancestors. I doubt it very much. But clearly, each and every one of us on this call today is a predecessor, simply because we have come ahead of another. There is no 10-month-old baby on this call or 10-year-old child on this call. So you have come before somebody else, all right? You have come before many people. We have seen the ages of the people on this program, and we know that there are so many people behind you. This means that everybody under the sound of my voice right now is qualified to go on a legacy journey. Everybody. And from today, you are going to tell yourself, all right, not just tell yourself, but intentionally walk that journey, that legacy journey. So I'm letting you know today that as long as you are on this call, whether you are in your 20s, trust me, you qualify to begin a legacy journey. So let's do a bit of an icebreaker. If we can unmute and say to ourselves 3 times that I qualify to go on a legacy journey. So in 2 seconds, can we all unmute ourselves?
I qualify to go on a legacy journey.
Qualified to go
Legacy.
on a legacy
Qualified to go on a legacy journey.
Amazing. Okay, I was going to give a go for us to say it together, but we've all done it. So let's just say it for the last time. 1, 2, 3, go. I
qualify on a legacy journey.
The legacy
journey.
Put your hands together for yourself.
Legacy journey is qualified.
Beautiful. There is power in spoken words. I wonder how it felt for you all to say that, to yourself. It's probably the first time that, it's my first time. I don't know about you, that someone is saying that to themselves. But there's power in spoken words. When you speak words, you are able to visualize and, put yourself into action, and it's just beautiful. So let's get back into it now.
Okay, so now we all agree. I believe that everybody did make that pronouncement that we all qualify to go on a legacy journey. Legacy can be expressed in many ways. Okay, it's important to note that we can express ourselves in many ways. What we do not know, or what we may not be conscious of, is that for every action or inaction, there is a message that you are sending to the people, to the community around you. So legacy can be negative. Hate, laziness, impact of war. Within your, and each time I call, I say your community. I mean your home, I mean your office, I mean your church or your mosque. I mean people around you at any point in time. I mean at that time when you are on a bus. I mean at that time when you are on an aircraft. I mean at that time, the moment you are interacting, like we would say, where 2 or 3 are gathered. At every point in time where 2 or 3 are gathered, there is an expression of legacy on your part. So at that point, what are you exhibiting? Because that is what you are actually creating as your legacy, knowingly or unknowingly. Are you creating hate? Do the words that come out of your mouth at all times, or most of the time, or at any point in time, indicates that you are a hateful sort of person? Does your behavior show that you are a lazy sort of person? We see videos circulate. Let's even use some examples on an aircraft. We see videos circulate from time to time when people want to talk up their hand luggage, and maybe there is no space, and then you see almost a fight break out because of that. You are writing your legacy. There may be 1 or 2 people who are seeing you for the first time in that action, and that is the impression that they have of you. And where your name is mentioned, they may never get a chance to see you again, to know that, oh, you are not such a bad person, that was just a bad day. No, they have left with that impression, and for them, that is your legacy. So you realize that most people never consciously choose a negative legacy. So it's really about our habits, our daily habits, our daily interactions are the things that come together that form us, that form our legacy. I doubt if anybody is going to be asked the question, are you a hateful person? Nope. Are you a nasty person? Nope. Are you just name any negative word? The answer is going to be no. That tells you that nobody consciously chooses, all right, to be a negative person. What, however, people consciously, intentionally must do is to be a positive person. It takes work. It takes being intentional. It takes being deliberate for you to be a positive person. to at all times bear it in mind that somebody has shifted my hand luggage from that compartment. How do I react? That reaction says something about who I am. Intentionality is about who you are. Who am I? Again, that question always resonates and will always resonate. And I hope that as people from time to time, whether you want to do it weekly, monthly, biannually, you keep going back and asking yourself that important question, who am I? How am I then proving that who I am? How am I in my daily interactions, when I'm faced with a problem and where 2 or 3 are gathered? How do I react? What am I doing? Because I am writing my legacy. So it's a choice. It is purely a choice. Positive legacy is a choice. Negative legacy, whether you like it or not, is a choice. When it's all said and done, it's really about you being intentional about it. Let's look at the positive ways that we can impact people and therefore create positive legacy as we go along. We'll talk about money. We've already agreed that the money, the houses and all of that, it is there. It is there. It is good for us, to be able to pass on 1 or 2 things to the next generation. Let's look at other areas that are equally important, and I dare say probably more important than money in the bank. Human capital development, character development. Where 2 or 3 are gathered and you are there, how have you developed that person with you? What is it that you are deliberately, consciously doing? So in your place of work, for those of us that have subordinates, peers, superiors, for those of us that run businesses, so whether you are the owner of the business or you are a staff in that company, whatever it is, there are people around you that you interact with daily. There are people around you that you interact with in a hall, at an event. And if you have some sort of discernment in you, you will be able to look around and you will know that in this person, there is a deposition of some skill, some talent, some creativity, something in this person that needs to be developed, and I can help the person. So let's take an office scenario. Let's just use that as an example. So there's somebody beside you that you believe, maybe you call the person from time to time, and you can see that from interacting with this person could make a good public speaker, as an example. How have you been able to call on that person to say, I've seen this in you. I believe that you can transit from this and become this, or in addition to what you are, you can also be X plus Y. And this is how I can help. So you can either help by yourself or you can help by introductions and all of that. But in all of that, you are helping somebody. I'm not talking about sending people on courses that have been put together by your human development department. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being deliberate about a couple of people in your community that you're looking at and you're saying, this person has a talent for so much more. This ordinary person can become extraordinary if this person can only tap into this talent, because in us is a deposition. For some, a bit more than others, but in everyone is a deposition from God that needs to be developed. That needs to be developed. Are you that person that then, where the person in case has not seen in himself or herself the ability, or the person just has fear? Because you may see in you that I can do this, but I'm scared. What will people think? Will I be accepted? Oh, the other person that did the same thing had this sort of negative reaction. How should this happen? How should I do this? And all of that. And you are there to tell the person, you can do it. Sometimes it may not even be a long journey. It may just be in that constantly telling the person, you can do it. This is the way I can handhold you, or I can introduce you, but I am going to walk this journey with you. Even in character development, how well are you looking at the person next to you in the office who's rather sloppy? And you think, I can help this person come out of this sloppiness or this laziness or this nasty attitude or this bad attitude to work. I can help this person by enabling the person see that you can be so much more if you can only drop this sort of characteristics, and the person can see indeed that that is possible and that is true. Love and respect is a very, very important positive legacy that we can pass on, that we should be deliberate about passing on in our community. How do you make people feel? One of my go-to people in good days and some bad days is the famous Maya Angelou. I'm sure we all remember her famous quote, which says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. How do you make people feel? That's your legacy that you're building. How do you make people feel? By those things you've done and by those things that you've said. How do people around you feel? Do they feel loved? Do they feel honored? Do they feel respected? Do they feel beautiful in your presence? Do they feel nice in your presence? Do they look forward to being in your presence because they know that when they come into your presence, they're going to leave no matter how bad they felt? Like the person that came on this call today and said, I'm not feeling so good. I think the person says, I'm feeling depressed. I'm hoping that by the time that we're done today, that you're going to feel good. You're going to feel grateful, and you're going to feel hopeful for a better, not necessarily tomorrow, a better after hour of today. How do you make people feel? Love and respect people. It takes nothing. It takes you realizing that that person that you think is beneath you was just created as you were, was celebrated at birth as you were, but life happens. And life happened to that person. Life can happen to you. Life can happen to your family circumstance, and before you know what is happening, you thought you were up there, you are down there. How would you want people to make you feel? Please do make people also feel that way. Everybody loves to be made to feel special. Everybody loves to be made to feel loved and respected. And a very, very important positive legacy that we need to try and imbibe. Let's talk about money in the bank. I know if I ask any of us now to unmute and say that we'd like to see $1 million in our bank account, this Zoom call that it's just going to tear apart. So I'm not going to go there, because all of us would like $1 million in our bank account right now. I too would. So yes, money is good. Assets are good. Who says money is not good? Well, you're on your own. It is. But money for what purpose? What's the purpose of your money? What message are you sending your money to go and deliver? What's the purpose? If it is just to be calling your bank a relationship officer to say, young man or young lady, how much do I have in my account? I say $5 million. So, okay, that is very good. That is very good. You're living no positive legacy. And if you have no will, I can tell you, therefore, for free, that if you pass on today, that money is lost. If you had no will, if you died interstate. But that is a discussion for another day. What message is your money sending? Have you sent your money? What impact is that money that you have? A lot of people have passed on monies, houses, assets to their children, and suddenly those families have fallen apart because of that. Those families have fallen apart because of that. So we need to be very mindful that yes, we need the money, loads of it, but what is it for? If it is to build a positive legacy, I applaud you. If it isn't, please, after this program, you need to rethink what your money is for, right? Charity and benevolence, closely tied to money. Again, but I'm also one that believes that you can be charitable and benevolent, and it is not necessarily with naira and kobo. So in your neighborhood, how many times do you call these street children and sit them down and just teach them ABCD? I don't mean ABCD, but I'm sure you know what I mean. That is charity, that is benevolence, that costs you no money. How many times have you called the children in the community to say, hey, we're all going to fall ill here if we all don't come together to clean these gutters, to ensure that we don't put the trash on the road, to keep these bags along the road. If you have to drop trash, you put it in there. That is charity and benevolence that does not require money. But you would have saved that community, that sickness, that cholera, or whatever sicknesses that go with dirt in our community, and you would have enabled that community to develop character. You would have done that, okay? So it's not always money. The point here is that it's not always money. Money is good, yes, but it's not always money. What does positive legacy also look like? Prudence, spirituality are all aspects of leaving behind a positive legacy. Do you just throw money around? Are you prudent in your spending? What are you spending on? Are you spending on a need basis, or are you spending on a pressure basis? Okay, my peers are driving this sort of car. My peers are wearing this sort of stuff. My peers are wearing only this type of jewelry. My peers only, do this and do that. And then you put yourself under pressure. Within lean resources that you have, instead of being prudent, you are going with the Joneses, as we normally say, okay? Positive legacy also shines through our spirituality, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian. At least in our society in Nigeria, we're largely Muslims and Christians. What legacy are you leaving behind? Are you raising up holy hands in church on Sunday and using the same hands? My pastor would typically use an example of doing that. So we're raising holy hands in church, and then we get out onto the car, get onto the road, and the first yellow bus driver that tries to be funny with us on the road is the same hand that we just used to raise holy hands, that we then used to do that thing that we all call waka, isn't it? Legacy. In your car are probably your children and other family members who will then be wondering, oh, what's going on there? So we have to be very mindful. We have to be very careful about those little things, okay? Spirituality is a big issue. It puts a lot of pressure on your behavior, because when you stand and you say, I am this and that, I am a pastor, I am a minister of the gospel, I am an imam, I am a worker in the church, I am this or I am that, I am a CEO of a company, there is a certain behavior that behoves on you, certain characteristics that it behoves on you to be mindful and very deliberate about what you do, what you say, because you are leaving behind a legacy, which in this case we're hoping would be a positive one. What legacies are you looking at? Could you leave behind that is also positive? Your body of work. For that which you do, okay? Even in your career, have you yet reached that peak of your career? What groundbreaking discoveries are there still that could come through you? So how are you using your body of work to impact people? How are you using it? We have in our midst the Wale in cars, the Chimamanda Adichie's. who have used their body of work to impact society. And these are people that I don't know if there's anybody on this call today that doesn't know Wole Soyinka. What if Wole Soyinka did not use the skill, the knowledge that he had in him, or the Chimamandas of this world, in their creativity in writing? Would we have had them today to use as reference points? So what is it that is groundbreaking that is going to come through you? What is it in your environment? What is it that you've looked at and you're thinking, this is needed? There's a gap here. I believe that the skill that I have, a talent that I have, that God gave to me, can be used to solve this problem in your community. I always would say it is pockets of people that form a community. It is pockets of communities that form, call them local government areas or states. It is those pockets again that come together that form a nation. So we all have a role to play. Positive legacy also looks like raising the next generation of leaders. Leaders can be born. Leaders can also be raised. You can learn to be a leader. You can be born with certain skills, but I can assure you that if you do not hone those skills, if you do not develop those skills, they will simply just remain with you. You need to hone those skills. You need to develop them to be a great leader that you're meant to be, that in you was deposit. The deposition in you was meant for you to be a great leader. Now, having been a great leader, what is one without raising the next generation of leaders? What will your legacy be? If you are not also then looking at the next person and thinking, I'm a great manufacturer or a great farmer, I should be able to raise the next generation of farmers that are going to do even better, that are going to translate from being able to do X number of tons to so much more. For me, there is no pride in being a leader if you cannot look back and you can see those that are coming, that you are hand-holding. Again, that is why I would applaud our coaches in the last session, our coaches now, because we are working together to raise the next generation of leaders. Every generation needs leaders. So today we're talking about, let's say, an Emmanuel Oyeleke in photography. Okay, he is a leader. Every generation will need him, will need his likes in their various areas of competence. So you need to raise the next generation. Look around you, whether it be in your family, outside of your family, look around you and raise somebody else up. Don't allow your skill, your talent, your creativity, don't allow that deposition that is inside of you to die with you. Don't allow it, please. Raise somebody else, raise a group, raise a team, raise a community. What does positive legacy look like? Documenting your dispensation for future context. While putting together with Justina and the team this presentation, we started looking at, and I'm going to take that alongside family tradition. We started looking at examples, because further down we're going to show you some examples of families that have built legacies, like the Walmart superstore in the United States that a lot of us know about. It's a family-owned business. As a nation, in our culture, what have we put together documentation for the next generation? So my daughter, her 4 generations from now, 3 generations from now, what would they know about our food? What would they know about our art? What would they know about our culture? What would they know about us? Documentarily. Now coming to family traditions, a lot gets lost because not much is documented. We don't document a lot. So a lot of things get lost. So you are explaining, but not documenting. So I would challenge each and every one of us on this call today. If you have grandparents, lucky you, go to them. If you have parents, lucky you, I don't. Go to them, all right, and ask them to begin to talk to you about their life, about who we are, okay, and begin on your own to document, them. Let me say something here very quickly before I forget. A lot of times when we talk about legacy, we keep thinking, oh, my parents and my foreparents, my forefathers. Please note, if you take nothing away from this meeting today, from this session today, please note that years from now, except the Lord comes, you will one day be somebody's forefather. I take that again. Except the Lord tarries, you will one day be somebody's forefather. You will one day be somebody's grandmother and great-grandmother. So, to your great-grandchild or your grandchild, when they are talking about their forefathers and the legacy of their forefathers, they are referring to you that is under the sound of my voice today. I hope that sunk in. I hope you understand the burden that I'm placing on you and on myself. Looking back and thinking, oh, my father and my mother, my grandfather and great-grandmother and great-grandfather. But a time is going to come when my children's children will be basing their own lives to a large extent on my life. That's a burden. And it's important that we can live here with a commitment to now be deliberate about leaving a lasting legacy and, very importantly, documenting it and leaving it on ground for it to be read and referred to by generations to come. What legacy is not? Legacy is not competition. Legacy is not based on pocket size. Legacy isn't show of wealth. Legacy isn't age-bound. Legacy isn't static. It grows with our experiences. So let's just take them as we have put them out there. Who are you competing with? What is there? Run your race. We are all running our race. Each and every one of us is running our race as defined for us by our Maker. We all have our purpose. We all have our purpose on earth. And I'm running my race. If my race inspires you, as many people's races inspire me, that's the truth. I could even call names of so many people on the call today, but I won't do that. Many people's race inspires me, okay? Both local, international, and if you go to my Instagram page and see the people or the handles that I follow, you will understand, you will to a very large extent understand why I'm following the people that I'm following. Because there's a lot to learn from other people. It's not a competition, I'm running my race. So if I get inspired by, let's say, an Oprah Winfrey, okay, to be generous in many ways. In this program, we're not being paid, really. This and there is a financial value, a financial cost or expense to putting this together, researching this and putting it together, and the team and all of that. But we're not getting paid. I'm not, So it's really from my pocket. But that is me believing that there is something to give back. That is me hopefully writing my legacy, right? If it inspires you, and what is my inspiration? Okay, so I look at an Oprah Winfrey, and I'm like, okay, we can impact our own community as well. Is there any competition? Absolutely not. So there is no competition. You're not competing with anybody except yourself, as we all know. Your best of yesterday, your today should only be competing with your best of yesterday, not with the next person beside you. We've already established that legacy is not based on your pocket size. It's based on you being deliberate about looking at, yes, the size of your pocket size and saying, in spite of, how can I impact somebody positively in spite of my pocket size? And where that pocket size is literally non-existent, what is the skill within me that I can put out there for the benefit of my community? It is not a show of wealth. It isn't. Again, we mentioned earlier, families that literally go to war with each other because of wealth, because of financial wealth, because of assets that parents left behind. Oh, I should get this size of house. I should get this size of land. I should get those shares. I should get these bonds. I should get those, and it's not a show of wealth. It's really that from the heart, based on your love for humanity. Am I praying that you're wealthy enough so that it goes round? Absolutely. Please. Like I said earlier, what's the point of the millions of dollars without the impact? It's not age bound. So you are not going to wait to be 80, to be 90, to be 70, to be 60. No. So I challenge the 20-something-year-old on the call today. Within your age group, within your peers, okay, how is it that you are impacting them? What is it about your behavior that is making people around you in your community change for the better, both in their characters, whether in their attributes, in their habits, in their walk in life? How are they able to move from where they are to be much better people? Legacy is not static. It grows with every new experience. Today's session is about you are living here with a new experience or a new way of thinking about the word legacy, about your life in itself, right? So it is not static. After this experience today, how are you going to adjust the things that you refer to us or you see as legacy? How are you going to now take that which you have and mold it to move from what I have, both inside and outside of me, and take it and head out on that legacy journey? So it is an ongoing thing. Okay, a lot of people just wait and, oh, okay, when I get to age 40, when I have ~1 million naira in my account, when I have this, when I have that. No, it is not static. It grows with every experience. And I pray that from now on, we are going to go on this journey, okay, with new experiences and with new insights after this program. Building a legacy is a choice. That's why we talk about this. The whole series around Mary Akpobome is living intentionally. When you do things intentionally, it means that you are living a life of choice. So you have a choice to leave behind a negative or positive legacies. And it starts with a decision, a deliberate, conscious decision. And then you put action to it. We've come on this program, I believe, because all of us are conscious of the word legacy or want to learn more about legacy. What are the actions that you are going to put behind? What are the actions that you are going to put behind this decision? We all know good from bad. We all know hard work from lazy work. We all know things to do. As it is said, a lot of times, easier said than done. It is in the action. It is in the action. So beyond making that choice today, beyond making that decision today, beyond taking that step today of joining this call, if you have your journal with you, please put it there. What actions am I going to take to actualize and begin my legacy journey? Everything is easy to say. Truth be told, you can talk from now till tomorrow. The work, the real thing is in the action that we put behind our words, which in itself leaves a legacy as to who you are. Do you walk your talk? Is a legacy choice. Do you walk your talk? Even the Bible itself tells us that we shouldn't make promises that we're not going to keep. Because when you talk, you're making a promise to somebody or to your community. The action that you put therein is what makes the difference, okay? We also all know that people make a decision about you based on what you do than what you say. So I challenge each and every one of us today that we should take a deliberate decision to put actions to our word today. Billy Graham says, the greatest legacy one can leave to one's children and grandchildren is not money or other material things accumulated in one's life, but rather a legacy of character and faith. Character and faith. We're not talking money. Character and faith. Peter Stroppel says, legacy is not leaving something for people. It is leaving something in people. It's not leaving something for people. It is leaving something in people. I dare add that sometimes that thing that you have left for the person can translate to leaving something in the person. But the initial consciousness will be about what you are leaving in the person rather than what you are giving to the person. Material things are fleeting. They're fleeting. Many of us grew up with silver spoons. Today we're looking for spoon. There is even no wood, no metal. There is no spoon. Many grew up with no spoon. Today they're eating, with having breakfast with salmon. Okay. It is in what is on the inside of us. That is what then exudes. That is what then plays out. Not when you are faced with easy choices, but when you are pushed. When you are pushed. When you are tempted. When you have been upset. I use the example again. When somebody has taken your bag out of the compartment that you put it on an aircraft and flung it to another place, and the things that you put in the bag have all fallen to the ground, and you are wondering, how do you react? Okay, are the deliberate, conscious decisions and thoughts that need to be in our minds. And when we are deliberate, when we are intentional, when we are always telling ourselves, this is what I am, this is what I say I am, it shows in the things that we do. So we spent the last, let's say, 30 minutes talking about what I think legacy should be about and legacy should not be about. We then think that it is time to take a poll. You took a poll before based on your mindset, your understanding of legacy. Now, let's take another poll and see if there are going to be some additions, some subtractions, some new insights based on our discussion over the last 30 minutes. And it is at that everyone. I hand over to Justina.
Hi, everyone. How is it going? How great is this? I'm so inspired. And I've been seeing some of the comments in the chat box. It shows that you guys are really following. Feedback has been amazing. So Mommy Mary said, it's poll time again. And we'll be returning back to our screens in order to answer the next question. We asked you what you thought legacy was before we delved into it. And now we've heard a thing or two, and we'd like to know what your new understanding of legacy is. So hold on a moment while I share my screen and get to it.
Brilliant.
Okay. One second. Okay, here we go. So next question, if you look at your screen, for those of you who are just joining us and you haven't been a part of the poll, to join, visit ahaslide.com /series 3, and you'll be able to join in the poll. So right now I have 45 people in there. I'd like to have more people in there, and I'd like to start to see your answers come in. So yeah, this is a multiple option, sort of, the answers are present in a multiple selection form and not in the cloud form that we've been enjoying before now, because now we're getting into the really serious details. So in your own words, what is legacy? Put it down in the answer box and we'll be looking at them shortly. So I see a few coming in now. The forever I leave behind, yeah. Making a positive impact in my environment, beautiful. What you leave in others, not what you leave for them, beautiful. Footprints I leave behind, yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming. Long-lasting positive impact on individual, group of individuals or society at large, good stuff. How I make people feel, not what I think, good. I feel like that particular point resonates with a lot of people. People understanding that it's about how they make people feel, not what they leave for them. That's a huge part of the legacy conversation. Impressions you remember for, beautiful. Wow, okay. We have about 63 responses now. It's filling up our screen nicely. We're enjoying this entire process, the interactive bits of it. It's really great. Yeah, let's keep it coming. We have, okay, yeah. So these are all the answers that we have here. And one thing that I noticed is that there's been a shift. When we asked this question the first time, most people had one or two words to say or phrase, but I see that there's more insight. People are saying more. Obviously, there has been some level of enlightenment for all of us who are parts of this event series. I'll be turning over now to Mrs. Akpobome to sort of share her thoughts on just the shift, what we have just noticed from the beginning of the event when we first took the poll on what we thought legacy was, and now the current responses that we have. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Justina, and thank you to everyone that responded in the second poll. I see that in the first poll you could see all the one-liners, okay, just 1 point and some sort of excitement. In this second poll, there's a bit of reflection. We are now a bit more reflective. We have thought a bit deeper, and we can see that legacy is really, really a huge issue. It is about our life. William James says that the greatest use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast us. So that's really our essence. That's really our purpose, to leave our feet on the sand of time. So I can see that there is a deeper understanding. Yes, some of the answers are still the same, but with a bit more explanation. And I say thank you for those responses that have come in. I'm going to also look at them as well so that I can, because I'm also here to learn.
Amazing stuff.
I'm also here to learn.
I want to say something. Mr. Akpobome is not aware that I'm going to say this, but I remember, no, nothing, don't worry. I remember the first time that we started to talk about work. And if you follow her on social media, by the way, if you're here and you don't follow her on social media and you're enjoying this content, you're missing out a lot, because this could really be you a couple of times in a week, because this is the sort of content that goes on her page, right? So her name on social media is Mary.Akpobome. And if you click on that, you're going to be able to find her. There's a Linktree link on her profile as well, where you can follow her on other social media platforms. But I just wanted to say that beginning this journey, right, with her was all about legacy. She said something to me the first day that we started talking about work and the overhaul. There's so much noise on social media. There's fashion, everyone is, there's these things that we see every day. But when people leave this world, what would they leave behind? If someone visits your social media page after you're no longer here, what value can they get out of it beyond, the usual stuff? So I dare to say that everything that Mr. Akpobome has been doing on her page and even this event is about a legacy. Can we take a moment to unmute our mics and put our hands together for her? Because personally, I'm really impressed. She doesn't charge money for this. I work with it.
Well done, Mary. Well done.
Well done, ma. Well done, ma.
Goes on and
Well done.
thank you.
Yes,
Great.
exemplary on what you really affected my life.
Thank you, ma.
Very natural.
That's amazing.
God bless you. Well done, ma.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
In fact, I can't thank
Love
you
you
for
for
positively
leading by
impacted.
example, that you can be more inclusive of individuals and your community in the way that you're living everyday life. Many times I want to put more about her there, but she doesn't want it. It's like, what will people benefit from it? If that isn't passion, I don't know what is. So on that note, you're leading the way in this legacy journey. We love you, we appreciate you. Keep being amazing. So let's get back into it now. So back to the presentation.
Justina, this was not on the agenda, but thank you very much. You almost made me cry there, but it's okay. Oh. Thank you, Justina. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the kind words. I believe that you give because you have been given. So every time I give of myself, it is in any way, whether it's material or otherwise, it is because I have been given. So I first always thank God for whatever it is that He has given and deposited in me, and He did not deposit in me for myself alone. He deposited it in me so that we can have times and seasons like this. So I'm really just doing the will of my Father. So I thank you all the same for the kind words. Let's go into another very, very important and reflective time in this session. We've put together some reflective questions. The screen is going to be shared right now, that you should take note and possibly write down in your own words these reflective questions. Question number 1. 10 years after my death, what will the world beyond my immediate family know and say about me? 10 years after my death, I repeat, what will the world beyond my immediate family know and say about me? Please note the word know. I mean what they know. I don't mean what is being put out there and what is being, bandied all over in the small world that we have become. I mean what they truly know about the real you. What are they? And 10 years is even a long time. And again, like today's small world, like I said. 2 years from now, a year from now, what will the world beyond your family say about you. When your obituary is posted, because let's first agree, let's first agree here. One thing is certain, as we were born, we all die. Let's not even, butter that up. Let's first agree. We're not buttering that up. As we were born, one day we all die. If your obituary is put up today, because now even saying 10 years from now, that even sounds far. If your obituary is put up today, and you had literally punched an air hostess on an aircraft because you asked for an extra glass of wine, and they said, no, you are only entitled to one bottle. Because we've seen it happen, we see the videos, and you had punched the person, and there was somebody that sat beside you, and the person sees your obituary, and the person never got a chance again to meet you. What would the person say about you with that knowledge of you? What will your colleagues say about you? What would your community, what would your church, your mosque, the members of that community, what would they say about you? I challenge you in your journal, whatever it is that you would want people or the world to say about you, and that is who you are, not just because you want them to say nice words or you want them to say nasty words. No, that is who you are. I doubt if there's anybody that wants anybody to say nasty words about them or, nasty experiences about them. When they've passed, everybody is hoping, oh, it was such a great guy, it was such a wonderful lady, and all of that. That's what we're used to. Write down those things that you would want to be remembered for and begin to do them if you are not. Write them down. You can note these questions and you can do it after this event. Okay, because I'm hoping that I actually at the end had wanted to say that after this event, don't leave your seat. Don't leave whatever it is. Spend another 5 to 10 minutes. Don't leave your seat. Just sit there and reflect and write down some of these things. What is it that you would want to be known for? Write it down. If you are not already doing them, the time to start is now. Question 2. If I had to give everything I possess and all my talent to a cause, what would that cause be? Would it be to the indigent children? Would it be to widows? Would it be to, who would it be? What would it be for? Would it be to fund climate change, cancer research, whatever it is? What would it be for? Again, write it down now. Yes, you are alive, so you are not giving over everything, but begin to sow into that cause. Question 3. If I were on a deathbed and I knew that I had 2 hours to live, what would I pay attention to? And I add to that, what would be my regrets? What would give me the highs? What would I smile about? What would bring tear to the side of my eye? What is it? Because if you are, when you are on your deathbed, when I am on my deathbed, I can only pray that I have a few hours surrounded by love, surrounded by family, so that you can even have that time to reflect. What is it that I would sit back and think, ooh, I should have done this better. Oh, I'm glad I did this. Oh, I'm glad I took that decision. Oh, I'm glad I took that action. Oh, I'm glad that my God's child got to go to school all the way to university because I was able to make that happen. Oh, I'm glad that I did this, and I'm glad that I did that. What would it be? What is it, however, on the other hand, that you would think about that you didn't do, or you did, that tear will drop and you wished otherwise? Please write it down. Again, begin to do them from now. And the reverse, begin to undo them as well from now. Because you will be lucky if you have those hours of reflection You know, this is my time. So that is old age, like I said, surrounded by family and friends. Maybe a doctor said, oh, a couple of hours to live, call all your family and all of that. That's all we pray for. And then, you know, you are there and you look back on your life. You look back on your life, this one life, and you say, yes, I came, I saw, I conquered, I lived my purpose. I'm wearing the crown. What would it be? Write it down. This session is not here to motivate and this session is when we leave here, we go and start doing. Please write it down. Question number 4. If I could snap my finger and acquire an experience or a talent, what would it be? What would it be? Because you can go acquire that talent now. You can go learn. So that's part of why we also have coaches. So if you want to learn photography, if you want to learn interior decoration, if you want to have a better marriage, better family, all right? If you want to learn the art of master of ceremony, comedy, and all of that, we have coaches here. We will have coaches, 4 or 5 coaches at every session. So note that. That's also our way of giving back, of calling our friends, because these are all my friends that I'm calling to help us on this journey. So what would be that skill? What's stopping you from acquiring it? What would be that talent? What's stopping you from acquiring it? Even if it does not yet exist, you can be the first. Go and acquire it before it is too late. Or before you think, well, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that, even though I don't believe that anybody's too old for anything, okay? But go and acquire it. Again, write it down. Write it down. Give yourself a timeline. This is something I've always wanted to do. This is a talent that I crave. Because when I get this talent, if I get this experience, it will enable my legacy journey. So you're not gaining or that experience or talent for bragging rights. Your money is not for bragging rights. It is to enable your legacy journey, because you are going to write out for yourself today what you want your legacy journey to be. What are those talents that you need? What are those creative experiences that you need? What are those skills that you need? Who are those people that you need to call upon that can help you on acquiring those talents to take you on that journey? And a final question. What will people miss about me when I'm gone? What positive attributes will they associate me with? I always ask. When you walk into a room, in your office, you light up a room. Do people think, oh, she's here, our problems are going to be solved, and even if they're not solved, she's going to leave us feeling good? Oh, she's here. Oh, God. The little problem we have is now going to be expanded to even now be larger than life. You bring light. Are you the salt of the earth? Do you bring light to a situation, or you add to the darkness that already exists? What do they miss about me? Will they miss that person that gives them a hug? Will they miss that person that, gives them a smile? What will they miss about you? Those positive attributes. Nobody will miss your negative attributes. So let's not even discuss that. Now let's begin our journey. This is our legacy journey. We're hoping that we're going to finish today 2 hours. So by 1 p.m., we have to be done. So how do we begin our legacy journey? Everybody, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be remembered for something. What will mine be? Reflect on the futility of life. The end is a leveler. I don't know who was buried deeper than 6 feet. If you do, I don't know. How does your culture, your environment, the infrastructural issues that we talked about, your religion, and all of that come together to enable you embark on this journey? Who are you? Your identity. This is key. This is key. Who are you? And if you do not already, if you have not answered that question, please go to my page and look out for my video on self-discovery. And I'm sure that it would help you. Put together A legacy statement, which will include the cause and the outcome, how you hope the next generation will benefit from your legacy, and conduct a risk assessment. These are all the things that we need to do as you are beginning your legacy journey. Sustainability of legacy. One of the things that has impacted us, call it negatively in this part of the world, has been the sustenance. So you find a lot of times that the patriarch passes on, or the matriarch, as the case may be, and something just ends. A generation just ends, okay? Businesses die. We see big businesses in this country today, and you begin to wonder, okay, what's the succession planning? What's the succession plan, rather? Because, I mean, at my age, there are many big businesses when I was in my 20s that today, when they call the name, you're like, oh, okay, those ones used to manufacture this, or used to produce that, or used to sell this. Because the next generation, there wasn't a sustainable plan that was put in place. If something happened today, how much of my legacy will live on? And who is currently soaking in all of that? Okay, how is that being put together on a sustainable basis? Who am I passing the baton on? And it doesn't have to be my children, like we said, it doesn't have to be our children. It doesn't have to be our relations. It could be, well be, the people around you in that community that will be the ones that will pass on your legacy. So let's get specific. Please choose your area of interest and influence. Write them down. Build on it and begin to put actionable points, timelines, actionable points and timelines. And be very deliberate about the sustainability of these areas of interest and influence, and begin to imbibe a continuous alignment. If there is no continuum, at some point, it just shuts down. And when it shuts down, if it's not continued, if it is not documented, whatever good that you did, or whatever interesting or positive legacy that you felt that you had built, just could disappear just like that. The pros of being legacy minded: you will best use your time, your talent, and your resources. As you're deliberate about it, deliberate about leaving a positive legacy, you will be mindful of how you want to do with your time, with your talent, and with your resources. You are not going to throw your pearls to swines. You will not. You will begin to deliberately live a life of purpose. You will live intentionally and leave behind a template for excellence. Those are the pros of being legacy minded every step of the way. And guess what? At the beginning, it may be difficult. You may be thinking, am I operating like a zombie and all of that? No. With time, it then becomes a habit. Those things that constitute positive legacy then become a habit. You then do them unconsciously because it has become who you are. What are the cons of being legacy minded? None. Zero. Because there is nothing, there's no bad thing about doing good. So none whatsoever. Again, I said we had put together some case studies. Because of time, we cannot speak deeply about most of them. But we all know Muhammad Ali, right? His grandson is in the ring. We are watching our favorite tennis sister in the world, Serena Williams, with her daughter already with her own tennis racket, hitting the ball across the net. We are seeing predecessors, great achievers that we are drawing inspiration from because somebody paid the price. Living here today, are you going to take the decision to pay the price of legacy? Are you going to take the decision to pay the price of positive legacy? Let me repeat something I said earlier that ties very closely to this. It is that generations from now, it will be your legacy. No longer my great-grandfather. You will not be putting it on them. Your own grandchildren will be putting it on you. So you need to pay that price now. Are you willing to pay that price? I'm hoping that if you joined this program today, indeed, you are willing to pay that price. We all have also heard of Martin Luther King. You can read them up, members of his family. They have always stood for activism, fight against racism and all of that. And members of his family have continued that journey. So speaking about businesses, okay, we hear of the Sam Walton's legacy. That's the Walmart group. This is the wealthiest family business in the world. And these things are available in Google. Just go see family businesses that have been sustained over generations. There is a lot to learn from. The Henry Ford generation. So we all know of the Ford cars and all of that. Now, unfortunately, in the course of, again, researching for this program, we could not find family legacies in Nigeria, for example. Maybe they exist, and I truly hope they do. And if somebody could then share it with us so that we can share to this, our community, this intentionality, family and community, it would be such great delight to see Nigerian, and I dare say African companies that have built the sort of legacy that we're talking about the Martin Luther King family or the Walmart family. It really would be such a delight. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's probably not been documented. Recall we talked about documentation earlier. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but if it has not been documented, if it has not been noised, if it has not been put out there to inspire other families, to let people know that this is possible even in our climb, irrespective of our own challenges, then how are we supposed to know? You don't light a candle or a lantern and put it under a bushel. So if there are such legacies, it would be interesting for us to learn about. I remember one. I'm sorry, the Dafinone family would be one that readily can come to mind now. But it would be nice if there are so many more that we can even pull together, okay, and begin to showcase as our own, because we need to showcase our own. My take on why legacy is failing, but just before that, there is a poll that I'm going to have to return to Justina now to take it from there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Akpobome. So guys, she just said something really important, it's just the journey in preparing for this. We realize that there's very little representation in terms of data as to family legacies in Africa in general. But we want to hear from you. What do you think is the reason why there is a little found out there? What are your thoughts around it? So once again, return to the polling unit. Okay. The question is, what do you think why do you think transgenerational legacy is not commonplace in Nigeria? What are your thoughts around this? Why do you think transgenerational legacy is not commonplace in Nigeria? Again, I'll be sharing my screen, and we want to see, what you think about it. Can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. So conspiracy of predecessor, because it's not something of our forefathers paid attention to. Yeah.
What do you think transgenerationality?
Intentional structuring and documenting, right? People have not been deliberate about setting this up. Change in value system in Nigeria, lack of vision, lack of maintenance. We lack maintenance and sustainable culture. No succession plan. Founders did not build on legacies.
Exactly.
These are really deep thoughts. Keep them coming. We have about, yeah, we have about 15 people on, 55 people on. We have 18, 20 responses now. Keep them coming. They're all really, really insightful. Yeah, this person says people are focused on survival. That is correct. And it leads back to what Mrs. Akpobome said earlier. We haven't been conscious about it. That's correct as well. Lack of faith in okay, that makes absolute sense, because you need to be able to depend on the next generation, right, in order to pass on the baton. But that's something that Mrs. Akpobome will speak about really shortly. Okay, so we have about 35 responses now, and they're all quite good. I'm going to return back to Mrs. Akpobome to ask, what are your thoughts on the responses that we have received? And maybe from there, you now go into your own personal thoughts as to why we are where we are right now in the expressions of legacy in Nigeria and in Africa in general. Thank you.
All of those responses are absolutely correct. They're absolutely correct. We're very now sort of people. We hardly, the very few people that think long term, the very few people that think generational. Same thing with our forefathers. Again, that's also why we are here. Which is why I'm also again reiterating that one day you will also be somebody's forefather. So let's change that mindset. Okay, let's change it from now on. So all of those responses are germane, the real, the true, based on our mindset, our environment, our culture, our religion, and things, and how we have been tuned from our youth to date. But we're hoping that's going to change. So my own thoughts, really, again, it ties with what most people have also said. It is that there hasn't been deliberate plans around succession. If you ask many companies, even many companies today, that, I've interacted with serious companies in this country. And when you ask a board their succession plan, everybody, you don't get clear, solid. And these are companies. So I even doubt if that's, I guess that's the same thing that also applies to individual families. So lack of early and adequate exposure to what one is being nurtured into, that we've been primed to think in a certain way, would be one of the reasons why we're failing in this. Again, we talked about infrastructure, the limitations that we have on our hands, but we have to be able to go past that, because those limitations are here. They're not going away anytime soon. Cultural and economic climate that we operate in is a big problem. Okay, I dare say religious as well is a problem for us. And then the sentiments that we have. Most of the companies that were mentioned in our case studies are not solely run by family members. Okay, they recognize that legacy a lot of times will need to outgrow families, but sometimes there's a lot of me, myself, and I. Truth be told, there are many companies that when you break them down, you can see that this is a lot of owning 100% of next to nothing, as against letting go and allowing yourself own, let's say 10, 20% of something that would become much bigger than you, and you can build a very good legacy around that. Okay, so those would be for me some of the reasons why in this part of the world we're not that deliberate about legacy. We're not that deliberate about what we're passing on along the lines of our discussion. What we do, however, and we do very well among the rich and wealthy, is to have seven children. So I build 7 houses, so I buy 7 houses, or I buy 7 cars. I have 7 million, so I share 1 million to them, or I have this. We're very good at that. For those that write wills, we are very good at that, okay? In most developed world, based on what I'm sure we've also seen, I don't know how many, let's say, American families that you hear a father sit down and say, oh, I have 6 children, I've built 6 houses and kept for you people. Nope. I send you to school, and I use my money and enjoy myself, and what's left of that I give to charity. You go live your life. What are they doing? Building very well. You gotta go out there and be resilient. Your father and leaving nothing for you, so to speak, okay, except that which they have deposited on the inside. So we find that what we deposit in people is mostly these material things. We need to learn, we need to roll back and begin to deposit into people on the inside of us. That's what I think is lacking in our part of the world.
Amazing stuff. Very well said, ma'am. At this point, we're going to open the floor and take 1 or 2 comments from people in the who are on this session with us, and their comments will just be generally around the very subject that we're speaking on, which is legacy within the context of Africa, right? Vis-a-vis the West. We have some very wise people on this call. We would like to hear 1 or 2 of them just share their thoughts on that, and then we can now go into the closing session, because we're yet to announce the winners of the coaching session that's coming up on the agenda after this feedback session. That's coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Yeah, we're still on. So would anybody like to say a thing or 2? Just raise your hand. I see that Samuel Abati has raised his hand. Yeah, I'll just take the first 3. So there's Samuel Abati. Oh, okay. There's so many people now. I have to trust God for how to pick. But the first person to indicate was Samuel Abati. So Samuel, I'm going to unmute you now, and so that you can speak to us. So Samuel, the floor is yours.
I thank you very much for the opportunity and platform. And thank you, Ma, for the beautiful words shared so far. So one thing that I've realized personally is that in Nigeria, I can't say for the whole of Africa, right? Because I exist just in Nigeria. But in Nigeria, one thing that I've realized about, passing legacies from generation to generation is that the nature of operations in Nigeria today is not the same way it was, let's say, 20 years ago. Our fathers, our forefathers, they could be upright. They could be 100% genuine with their qualities and say, okay, I'm a straightforward person. I do not cut corners. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm just going to face my studies. And, there's still a platform to excel. But in the world of today, as we all know, except once to deny the facts, is that a lot of times it's not easy for your moral standards. It's not easy for your, what the values you protect, the values you uphold. It's not easy for these values to always pave ways for you. It's now a thing of faith and, understanding where we are as Christians or as believers and all that. So, know that you have a place to stand in the world of today. But the truth is, if a man left, let's say, 20 million naira and said, okay, he's giving this to his children or his grandchildren, there's so much to frustrate what we have taken from the past. So I believe, I don't want to blame government for everything. We really can't blame the government for everything. I'm just going to say that it's the society that we exist in today. It frustrates a lot of things that, could excel in the past. So it's making it more difficult to actually pass on legacies, because, the standard of living is harder. The mode of operation for people is more difficult, is more complicated. And I think that's one of the reasons why, it's really difficult to pass on values, to pass on qualities, or to pass on even, let's say, generational wealth right? It's not the same as it used to be. So that's what I have as a contribution. Thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic. That's very apt, Mr. Abati. I mean, the size of an economy comes to play. Every country has its own unique journey. Every sovereign state, level of infrastructure that is available to absorb, all of the forward-thinking initiatives and all of that. But if we all come together and consolidate, what Mrs. Akpobome is saying, and we are all doing our part, we will move the eye of the needle. That was very insightful contribution. Thank you. I don't know if you have anything to add to what he has said, Mrs. Akpobome. Or shall I go ahead?
Go ahead. Since the
Okay.
other people that want to, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to be picking Nedin So Ogaziechi to think that I'm Igbo and I can't, but
Nedin So Ogaziechi.
oh, beautiful. Hi,
Yeah.
Nedin So.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was actually late because I was coming in from somewhere. But the much I got, which is about 45 minutes now, I think I can talk based on what I've heard. My contribution will be that there are fundamentals we have to address. I appreciate what Mrs. Akpobome has said, but I don't know whether you talked about parenting. And the values of legacies starts from the home. In most cases, it could be acquired, but I think fundamentally it has to start from homes. What are the values we give to our children as fathers, as mothers, So I hope listeners and people who are joining will take that into consideration. Then the second thing I will talk about is our awareness about political power and the leadership we have. Most times before now, people will say, oh, what's my business? It doesn't concern me. I mean, it doesn't affect my career or whatever. But we forget that those who make policies for cassava plantation or something, invariably it will affect our or something. So I think legacies have two foundations, the home and the leadership, the system we run. If we miss those two foundations, there's nothing, no matter how utopian you think, it might never come to fruition. But I appreciate that we are diverting our attention to this, and I thank you for organizing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that contribution. It's really amazing as well. We have here Idris AAO2. I'm not sure how to Idris, can you hear me? Hello, Idris. Okay, I think he's having some audio challenges because we can't hear him. So we're gonna have to take another person. So we have here Olayinka Ojo. Olayinka, can you hear me? Olayinka Ojo, can you hear me? You raise your hand to speak.
Loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, hi Olayinka, how are you doing today? Okay, there's a bit of noise coming from your end. You're gonna have to manage that.
Okay, is it better now?
I think we're good now.
All right, thank you so much for this platform. I really learned a lot. So quickly, my contribution for why we are not seeing a lot of legacy and transfer of wealth, both material and immaterial, in Nigeria and generally Africa, I think is what Sister Mary said earlier. We can trace it back to the era of colonization. You know, it became almost impossible for our forefathers to actually have a thing of their own. Even freedom to move is something that is very, very difficult. And a generation whereby you cannot have access to basic things of life. By the time you have a little freedom, the only thing you want to solve is those basic things, what you wear, and the food that you will eat, where you're going to live. And that became a pattern that I think has been passed on to generation that
Olainka. Okay, I think we lost him there. But thank you so much for your contribution, Olainka. Just because we didn't hear him out, I might just quickly take one more person. I have Sheyi on us. Hi, Sheyi.
Hi, Julian.
Justina is my name. Hi, how you doing?
So sorry, Justina.
That's
Hi.
fine. That's
Okay,
fine.
my contribution is from the business side, and I think I want to give a practical example. I watch Food Network program a lot, and one of the things I've noticed is the fact that you have a restaurant where maybe doing any documentary on them, you hear the restaurant manager is like the fourth generation, the fifth generation, and you're wondering, how do businesses last, from generation to generation? And I think what I learned from those programs is that they involve their children in running their businesses as early as when they are under 10-year-old. So you have our own parents here, they send you for masters, probably PhD, and they expect you to now come and run those companies that you have never been part of. And you are now placed almost at executive level. You don't even understand the operations of the business. You don't know the culture. You don't even know the industry. You don't even know the environment. And then these businesses are handed over to them. What do you expect? They can never last. So for me, that's what I just want to contribute. Thank you.
That is so insightful. I feel like Mrs. Akpobome has something to add on that regard really quickly, and then we'll pick up.
Okay, thank you for thank you all four contributors, all very germane points. Yes, it's a tough environment. It's a tough operating environment to be, morally upright, infrastructure deficit, and all of that. It is a tough environment. Parenting, leadership, starting from the home, and of course, leadership, the people that we vote into power, and then the involvement of children, like my sister just talked about. All so true. Unfortunately, again, because of the environment that we find ourselves, many children don't want to do what their parents are doing. They think that they can do better. They think they can do more. They think that the environment that we are in does not allow them to be much more than their parents. Okay, so it's very vicious. It's very vicious. But I do hear you, and I totally agree that you want my child to continue. You want your child to continue in this furniture or carpentry business. He better start putting his hands there from an early stage. So again, thank you very much to all the contributions. We're all here to learn, including me. I take on the parenting, the role of parenting in legacy, what we would teach our children from a really young age. Totally all true and all apt. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So right now, we're going to go back to the presentation. Mrs. Akpobome has put together an affirmation, for everyone who is here to sort of say to themselves and continue to reinforce in their lives as we, as part of our takeout here. Because the more you say something, the more you start to realize or that you have the power in you to actually do it, because you start to think more about it, and you start to think about different ways to swing into action. So, Mrs. Akpobome, I will let you champion this affirmation point for all of us here.
Okay.
So,
thank you, Justina. I'm sure the screen is being shared so everybody can see it. So please put your name in there. If it is possible to stand, I know you're looking at the affirmation, but I'm standing. So, but if it is possible for you to stand wherever you are, you want to raise your hand. Let's pretend this is our national anthem.
Mute your
mic.
mic.
Raise your hand. You want to put your hand on your chest. We will say this only once. Justina, please unmute everybody. And I'll just do a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and we all go together and you put your name in there. Please, this extremely important. Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Yes, we're ready.
Are we ready?
Yes,
We're
we
ready.
are.
So 1,
Yes,
2, go. I,
I,
Akpobome,
Davis,
have a legacy
Have
of
this
being
mandate
impact
and
would leave behind
Behind
greatness.
greatness.
I will leave behind greatness.
hallelujah.
If you've done that, just give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, and I thought that was very, I felt the hallelujah moment myself. Hallelujah. I was wondering if they were getting slain in the spirit, but yeah, this is good stuff. I felt an energy saying that. I don't know about you. And I feel like, because we're going to send out this recording to everyone that is on this call that registered to be here, you know, because we want you guys to watch this and sort of reinforce the things that you've heard today. So you will be getting this recording. If you have not registered for this event and you're here, because some people got the Zoom link, like we shared it live just because we want everyone here. You know, if you did not register, you will miss out on getting that material. So I encourage you to still visit Akpobome's Instagram handle. You will see a link to register. It will be on there until tomorrow, so that we can get data for people that receive this recording. Imagine waking up every day and as part of your daily routines in the morning, you say this to yourself. I mean, such powerful affirmation, you know, and I know sometimes the things you're saying can be in opposition or, you know, be a sharp dichotomy of what your reality is. But there's power in spoken word, and the more you say, the more you feel like it, and the more you actually do it. This is a proven fact. So right now we're going to go back to slide, because we have just, I think we have one more poll to go, and it will be go time for us. And then so at this moment, hold on. It is time for our poll again. If you're just joining, visit www.ahaslide.com/series3. But most of us who are here right now have been on this journey, so I'm sure that you know how to find your way around. So I'm just gonna go into it now, right? Yeah, so simple task. How would you describe this event in one word? Let's go. Beautiful. Someone said impactful. Someone said rewarding. Someone said excellent, amazing, educational, fulfilling, eye-opening, life-changing. Let's keep it coming. Someone said super, super duper. Someone said fun. Yay. We love the fun feedback because we really wanted people to have fun. Enough of boring webinars. We're not for that here. Beautiful. Someone said mind-blowing. Let's keep it coming. I think we have just 38.
Are they on Zoom?
So let's mute our mics, please. Thought-provoking. That's a good one as well. Thought-provoking. Yeah, it does provoke. It gets one thinking. Someone said deep. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this is a really good feedback again. Let me save it in the sands of time. And this is our last poll. Thank you everyone for being a part of our poll this time. It's gonna be more engaging and even more beautiful next time. We're glad that it worked and it helped us drive engagement during this session. So we'll just be going back to the slide now and taking like a closing remark from Mrs. Akpobome. Hold on, please.
Okay, that way. So
again, thank you, everyone, for the last poll, for the feedback, from this event. Before I go into the last quote, let me say that my objective, let me state my objective in all of this. It is that if at the end of a session like this, one person, if it's only one person that walks away, impacted and goes on to act, I feel fulfilled. At every message I send out, at every time I try to, motivate or inspire, I'm targeting that one person, because you don't know the impact that one person can then go have in a much larger community. I cannot thank you all enough for joining, for staying on, for your contributions, for being here. What's the essence of this session if you are not here? I thank you. I thank you all so very much. And will therefore end by saying, always remember, it is not what you leave for others that matters. It is what you leave in them. So please leave behind the essence of an authentic soul. It is not what you leave for others that matters, it's what you leave in them. Leave behind the essence of an authentic soul. God bless you all. I love you all. I look forward to seeing you all again sometime later in the year when we take another session like this. At that one, I think Justina and I discussed, we'll be talking about partnerships. Why do people go into partnerships, the pros, the cons, the legal issues around all of that, and hope that you can join us again at that time. Thank you again so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And
don't go away. We haven't announced our winners.
Okay.
That's next.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Justina, over to you.
You went right into the love, but yeah. Guys, was this amazing? I feel like we should clap again, but can we just take a moment to clap for Mrs. Akpobome for this amazing session? I feel really tired of,
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you all.
Thank you so
much. So much. Trust me. The pleasure is mine.
I think I'm the one person. Thank you so much, Ma.
God bless.
Thank you, Ma.
The pleasure is mine. The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Do you have any words to say? Because I would like us, once we announce, we just
thank you.
If you have any vote of thanks, that might be a good time.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Ma, for such a great event. It's really, really impactful. I personally is grateful to be part of this. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac.
I thank you. I thank you.
Yeah, my name is Gwen. I really want to thank Mary for this session. Maybe nothing we didn't really know, but you really drove the point to the heart. So Mary, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this session.
Thank you, Mommy Gwen, and for everybody. Gwen used to be my boss and demystified the notion that women don't support women. She literally handheld me amongst a couple of other women in my banking career. So thank you so much, Mommy Gwen.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
I'm so inspired, and I know it's never too late. I haven't built a legacy at 74. I'm going to try starting now.
Wow.
Roma, you have built
Thank
many.
you very much. Thank you very much, Mary.
God bless you. Thank you for joining.
Nanny, and she used to be the Minister for Women Affairs. That was Mrs. Josephine.
Thank you, Auntie Josephine. Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Ma. God bless you, Ma. God bless you.
All right. Okay. Now it's time to announce our winners for the coaching sessions. Recall that we had announced that we have 4 categories that people will be benefiting from, a minimum of 2 to 3 people. The first category is with photography coaching. and that is with the talented award-winning photographer Emmanuel Oyeleke. And then the second category is with interior design, and that is with again phenomenal Mrs. Tope Olabegi. And the third is with, because the creative industry is an important discourse in moving Nigeria forward, right? So alternative means of purpose, right? 2 decades ago, being an MC host, an event host or an MC wasn't viewed as a proper career. But now look where the world is. There's even a thing as an influencer on social media. So Mr. Segun Lasop Ogundipe, talented international MC, has volunteered as well to coach 2 people. And then we have the amazing Mrs. Tara Durotoye, founder of House of Tara, has volunteered to be taking on 2 people on the family life session, which will be focusing on creating a balance between being in the field and succeeding at home. And I'll be asking questions for each category. I will announce the category and ask the question. I will share my screen so that we can see who answered first. And hold on. Okay. 1 second. Let's exit this as, from here. Okay, here we have our chat. Okay, it's now visible. So let me go to the very bottom of it because we have hundreds of messages in the chat box. And now share the screen. I'm not sure why I'm unable to share my Zoom screen. Okay, there it is. Aha. Okay. Okay, the moment I share takes me to my desktop. You guys are gonna trust me because I want to end this event. Right? I have a witness here, Mr. Davo. So announcing for the first category, which is to win the coaching session with Emmanuel Oyeleke on photography. Right? I'm gonna hope that this person, because this is a huge one, this person should have been following us on our journey. What was the theme of our last event series? Please answer by writing it in the chat box, and it will be visible to us here, the couple of us here. What was the theme of our last Intentionality event series? If you know the answer, drop it into the box, and you would win the photography session. Okay, I'm just gonna give 1 minute for that. Okay, the first person to answer was Samuel Abati, and Samuel said, stop. That's correct. Everybody put your hands together for Samuel Abati. He has just won the first beneficiary of the photography session. Samuel, congratulations. There's one more person. Don't fret. There is one more person, but I will not change the question because of time. The second person to answer right is Rolly Moronike. Congratulations, Rolly Moronike. Congratulations, Rolly. Rolly, can we hear your voice?
Thank you very much.
Oh,
good afternoon, everyone.
We like it. Amazing. Congratulations, Rolly. Okay,
Thank you so much.
The answers will stop coming in now. Okay, congratulations to Samuel Abati and Rolly Moronike. For everyone who is on, please stay behind after this meeting. We'll be rounding up really short in under 10 minutes to be over. The second category is for the interior design coaching session. And this person will not only get words, but to get field exposure as well. What this means is that you're part of a project. You actually see the talk, being walked, and that will be taken by the talented Tope Olabegi. And the question is, okay, Yeah. Okay, the question is, oopsie. The question is, what does the legacy journey begin with? We mentioned that in this meeting, and it's easy peasy, please win for me, guys. Like, what does the legacy journey begin with? I'm seeing some answers, but no one has. Yes. Ibukuno Wolabi has answered right. She said it starts with an intent. She said that it starts with congratulations to Ibukun Owolabi. He said that it starts with an intent. Our second winner for the interior design masterclass and food exposure category is Oizamsi Ose Odobo. Congratulations, Oizamsi. Can we hear your voice, Oizamsi Ose? I hope you're Lagos based though, because operationally, maybe I should have said that. For
yes,
this
I'm
one.
Lagos.
Okay, fantastic. Congratulations to our two winners. Okay. The third category is if you're here and you want to become great at the art of emceeing and hosting events and just keen into that space in the creative industry. The third question is for you. Really easy. Name one thing legacy is not. We listed a couple of things that legacy is not on this call. In the chat section, can you say what it is?
Justina, just to say also that laugh of the person that is taking on MC, the art of MC, can take up to 5 mentees.
Ooh,
so we have 5 opportunities.
Okay, that is amazing. Okay, I think the answer, oh my God. Yes. I see a couple of correct answers. The first person is, so Joy wants to be an MC. Fantastic. Joy Egolum said that it's not financial, it's not money, it's not money related. So Joy Egolum, let me just write that down real quick. And we also have Lady Jane. Lady Jane, what's your surname? You're the second winner. You said that it's not financial. What's your surname, please?
Onwubuya, that's ONWUBUYAH. It's in the chat right now. Thank you so much.
Okay, and the third person to win is Isaac. Isaac, you have just one name here, but you said it's not age related. So fantastic, Isaac. I'll write your name and please
I'm grateful.
Behind.
Okay.
Yes, Martha Bukola George said it is not competition. She's very correct. Martha Bukola George. Okay, she said it is not okay. Esther Kujero said that it is not financial as well. That's another correct answer. So I think we have our complete winners for that category. So we have Joy Golem, Lady Jane, Isaac, Martha, and Esther. And I love it that women are stepping up, to get in the game. It's really beautiful. Well done, guys. And then for the final one, which will be taken, which is a family life session, creating balance between work and family. If anyone has, I'm a mom, I have 3 children. I know that it can be quite, a struggle sometimes, but we can't give up now, can we? We are the mommies in the house, and perhaps daddies who are struggling to keep up with the family life and work-life balance. Mrs. Sarah will be taking on sessions with you, just 2 of you. And your question is, what is the operative word in the definition of legacy? Let's go. operative word in the definition of legacy? I have one correct answer from Gwen, and it says origination. But there is another one. So congratulations, Gwen. Gwen, what is your surname?
Abiola Oloke.
Okay, you just wait behind. Oh, I see somebody here that got it. Said anything. This person doesn't have a name. They didn't register. You have a name, but you did register, and it said your email is odusilo. Lord. Okay, I'm sure you can identify yourself. Odunsilo, odundayo@gmail.com. You did not you didn't log on with your name. You have won this. Can you speak up, please? I need to identify the person in order to move forward. Oh, we have to take someone else.
Hello. I registered with Fumi Odushile.
No, this is Odunsile Odundayo.
Yes, that is my email address.
Okay, that is what is visible. So you're Fumi Odunsile, right?
Yes.
Fumi Odunsile, congratulations. Please wait behind after this, and we would just let you know the next step. Thank you, everyone, for being here for 2 hours plus. We don't take it for granted. Over 200 people who joined at some point. This has been our best so far. We're really excited for the next one we're going to have in December to wrap up this amazing year 2021, which started intentionally. And we're already thinking about it. Please, if you're here, follow Mrs. Akpobome on social media, Mary.Akpobome. These are the sort of content that we share, on a regular day, and you'll be better for it. And let's just keep growing our community and creating an awareness. I'm really impressed also by the number of really young people that have joined this, because it's really easy for a young person to dissociate themselves from the concept of legacy when they hear this. But it's really impressive the number of young people that have actually joined. Thank you all for living your lives beautifully and intentionally. Mrs. Akpobome, please give the closing remarks, and we'll bring this event to a close.
Well, it's just to say again, thank you. I'm honored that you came on board. I believe that there would be one or two things that you have taken, and I pray that you would be able to implement that your purpose in you to go out there and get doing, okay, in spite of. Our environment is such that to get things done is in spite of. So whatever the circumstance, please go out there and get it done. Every day you are working a legacy journey. Thank you again so much. God bless you. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Mommy Mary, I sent you a DM. Can you please check?
Okay. Sorry?
Thank you so much.
I sent you a DM, Mommy Mary. Can you please check?
On Instagram?
No, here.
Auntie Ravi, is that you?
Mommy Mary,
Yes.
I sent you an email. Could you please check on it? Thank you.
Auntie Ravi, we love you.
Love you.
Auntie
Well
Ravi, I'm
done.
going to
Great
pin you now
job.
to count you a bit.
Great job.
We love you.
We love you, man.
Well
Mary.
done, Mommy Mary.
We love you. Thank
Great
you so much for
job.
this.
Awesome.
Thank you. We love you.
Cecilia, I'm going to pin you now. Hi, Cecilia. Hello.
Jojo.
Okay. I'm going to pin you and pin someone else.
Beautiful one. Loved it.
Love you, Mommy
Who else is
Mary.
live? Okay, I'm going to add Stella Bassi now. Hello, ma'am. If your picture is live, you're likely going to be added. Thank you so much for staying on from the beginning. Mrs. Stella Bassi, I noticed.
You have to greet us too. We are greeting you people here.
Thank you.
One
Bye.
Okay.
Please, I sent you a message.
Lady Jane.
Samuel Abati, you stayed on from the beginning. Well done. Well done. And for everyone that joined early, well done. Thank you all so much.
You can see them.
Sorry, I sent a message to Mommy Mary.
Thank you, Auntie Mary. I'm so grateful. It's my first time joining, and I can really say it. I'm happy. I'm happy. Thank you, ma. Thank you so much, ma.
Okay, so for all the participants, please just hold on a bit.
This person said she sent me a direct message.
And we're going to be sending you a form to fill out real quick now. Mrs. Akpobome, we can hear you.
Sorry.
Okay. We're going to be sending you a link to a form for you to fill out now if you want any of the categories. So just hold on a minute and we'll send that across to you now. It will be dropping in the chat box.